recaps once the match is done. From the field to the office, we're ready to go on the One Star Post Game Show.
All right, it's the One Star Cowboys podcast. I'm Kevin Turner with Kent Garrison, and then we have Jon Machota and Saad from The Athletic out live in Washington, D.C., as we try to discuss, well, the weirdest game of the year, believe it or not. Start with you, Jon. Hot takes and headlines. What is the big story from you from that Cowboys 34-26 victory?
Oh, it's a lot of me battling with don't be too negative, okay? Because it's good. It was a good game, and it was good, or not a good game, good finish, and it was entertaining, and people should be excited about watching entertaining football. That's my positive. My negative is it takes two teams that aren't very good to have a finish like that. You know, like Terry McLaurin, awesome player. Jaden Daniels looks like he's going to be a very good player. They should complete passes. They should not complete passes that should go for about 30 yards, and they turn into whatever that touchdown was, 60, whatever, 70 yards. Like, that shouldn't happen. So there's that. Avante Turpin is an outstanding returner. The ball should not go through his hands all the way back to the one. He then snatch it with one hand and then do a spin move that looks like something you would do in the backyard to your grandfather on Thanksgiving. And then all of a sudden bust that thing for a touchdown run. And then, of course, then there's the missed extra point. And then there is the whole side of when you recover an onside kick in that situation, if you just go to the ground, the game's over. But no, you return it for a touchdown. So the game goes on, and you give the ball back to a guy who, I don't know, completed a Hail Mary in that same stadium to beat the Bears a month ago. So there's just there's got to be a lot of bad to get the good that we got. Now, it was really entertaining, and it was fun to watch and fun to write about. And so that's all great. The other flip side of it is there's a part that I think we'll look back on this, because I do think that this will now be a 5 or 6 win Cowboys team, and it'll leave you scratching your head like, well, they're obviously not getting a top 5 pick now. And so while this is entertaining, it really doesn't help you in the big picture, because there's still going to be a lot of changes in the offseason, and you're not going to have the high pick. But hey, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, I think, echoing a lot of that stuff, the one thing I will say is that this officially takes you out of the Travis Hunter sweepstakes. So, I mean, you can go for whatever, still a top 5, top 10 pick, but I don't think that you really have a shot at number 1 at this point, unless other teams just start playing much better, and whatever happens, if Tommy DeVito catches fire, I don't know. Like there's a few 2-win teams. There's a couple of 3-win teams. There's some 4-win teams that the Cowboys would have tiebreakers over. So, so this does take you out of, I think it does take you out of number 1 overall. Crazier things have happened, but I don't think it takes them out of the contention for a high pick, but Travis Hunter, number 1 overall, I don't think that they're really there. But in terms of the game, in the first half, it was comical. I mean, in the press box, we had a conversation between a few reporters of what happens if the game ends 3-0, and we came to the conclusion that we'd all storm the field from the press box, because at that point it seemed like, yeah, it's not likely, but can you rule it out? I mean, there was a blocked field goal, there was a missed field goal, there was a blocked punt, there was a missed extra, there's just so much. So that was kind of the vibe there. And then also the first touchdown that was scored in the stadium today was by some kid wearing a number 4 jersey, beating a mascot to the pylon at halftime. So that's wonderful. Also how the game was going today. So to be
fair, though, Saad, there wasn't even a real kickoff. They pretty much set them up where they only had to go 10 or 15 yards anyway. So it wasn't really I don't think the rules were real fair there to judge anything against. But go on, sir.
Yeah, no. But overall, I thought, I don't want to repeat a lot of stuff that Jon said. I echo a lot of that stuff. It was an entertaining ending, and all that's cool. But I'm also not one that's heavy on team tank. If it happens, I think the Cowboys organically are bad enough to lose enough. But yeah, I do think you can pretty much cross off Travis Hunter now.
One other thing I wanted to add on that is I get it. If fans that want them to lose, maybe those are the ones that are the loudest on put Trey Lance out there. But for the team that wants to win, and for Jerry and Mike McCarthy to say Cooper Rush there and be our quarterback because it gives us the best chance to win. Today was such a great example of, yes, that's exactly what it is. Like what Cooper Rush did today, Trey Lance ain't doing that. Sorry, guys. I understand if like that's your hopes and dreams that's going to happen. He's not doing that. Not this year. Maybe down the road, some year he'll do it with some team or whatever. He's not playing as well as Cooper Rush did today. And let's be honest, it wasn't like Cooper Rush, was as good as Dak would have been in this situation. But he played very well. I mean, even I don't know. I thought it was like one of his better games. Reminded me of when they went on that 4-1 run when he filled in for Dak a couple years ago. Like Trey Lance is not on that level. Sorry, I hate to burst anybody's bubble that thinks he is. He's not.
I thought it was sabotage when they put him in for the most obvious play ever. Oh, first and goal on the goal line, and it's going to be just a quarterback keeper. Oh, who could have guessed it? I'm kidding on the sabotage thing.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Hold up. So you're the coach, and you want to get him out there.
Yeah.
Do you want him to throw it and then turn the ball over?
I'm just saying the one play he's going to be out there in the goal line. Of course, he's going to keep the ball. Like it's the most predictable thing ever. Like CeeDee Lamb in motion was open on the other side. No one even followed him over. Now it would have been a throwback. And it would have been a hard play to pull off most likely for this team. But like, it was just like one of those things was like, oh, of course. And then they pulled him out. I'm not being real serious here. I do think there's a large portion of Cowboys fans who obviously do want them to lose. I think football is very difficult to tank in. I think you have to be so intentional with everything you're doing. And it's a sport where people can actually get hurt, like,
I think the Giants are doing it when you go to DeVito.
Yeah. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
It's still because very tough.
Because real quick on the Giants, like I understand benching Daniel Jones because of the injury insurance and all that stuff. But if you're not trying to tank, you go to Drew Lock. You don't go to Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, no doubt.
So they are absolutely trying to do that.
And they believe they fired their head coach and GM today. So there you go.
Would you have been fine with that today, KT? If when they went out for the starting lineup, Will Grier was the starting quarterback today?
I would not have liked that over Trey Lance because you traded a 4th round pick for Trey Lance. I mean, it will always go back to that. So. And that matters, and that could hypothetically a 4th round pick possibly.
What about
coin could have helped you this year?
What about Steven saying he has no regrets about them doing that? Looking back on it last week, he said that. How would you feel about that? No regrets in the 4th round pick for Trey Lance.
I believe him.
I actually do believe him too. And if I had some hard opinion that it was a shitty trade when it happened, then I'd be like BS. But like, I wasn't saying that. I was like, oh, who knows? I was doing that crap.
Oh, me too, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. To me, it only became a bad trade in hindsight, in the sense of like, if you're going to sign Dak to an extension, and if you knew you were going to, then it was a bad trade from the very beginning. But if you were truly unsure if you wanted to sign Dak or not, then I wasn't hard no on that trade either. But I will say, to John's hypothetical about Will Grier, the last time we saw Will Grier play as a Dallas Cowboy may have been one of the best preseason performances by a quarterback in Cowboys history. And the last time we saw Trey Lance play in a Cowboys uniform may have been the worst quarterback performance in preseason in Cowboys history. So
he has a higher ceiling than Kyler Murray. That's a joke. That's a joke for like 2 people.
The only thing I'll say though about the preseason, like Dak's rookie year, he looked real good in the preseason.
Yeah. It's weird. And look, this game, I think I tweeted out this game was kale in the first half and it was pizza in the second half. And the game was really fun to watch in the second half. That first half was atrocious. I saw John, you tweeted the worst first half of football you've ever seen in your life. Like, whatever the case is, I want to tell you one of my number one observations from this game was, I think I'm kind of out on Kingsbury as offensive coordinator here next year or whatever both that is. Dude, Cliff's going to have to start putting up some serious dubs in December. Because I was like, okay, yeah, the Redskins offense. I mean, the Commanders offense can't do anything at all either. Oh, wait. They were supposed to be a playoff team. And then you watch this. They're playing this team without Zach Martin, without Tyler Smith, with everything that's gone on. What? I mean, we've seen in back-to-back weeks, I think crazy indictments on the Houston Texans, who lost to the Titans today, and the Washington Commanders, because this is a team who should be getting smoked by 10 points or more every single week. And the fact that they're not the last 2 weeks is crazy.
Yeah, and like, you know, it made me like rethink even just the conversation we had a few days ago. Like, you know, I wasn't like fully bought in on Jaden Daniels in terms of like unconditionally. I said I need to wait until next year. Let's see what he has next year. Let's see if he has it for the rest of the season. Like, I mean, maybe I jumped the gun by just thinking like, you know, he was good as a rookie and let's see if he has a good sophomore year. Like, no, let's see if he has a good rookie year in terms of total year, because they're about a Hail Mary away, a dumb play away from being whatever they are, like whatever 6-6 or something like that. So
I thought for sure Dan Quinn defense was going to cause more problems for a Cooper Rush in bringing up what KT said about the offensive line, having your two starting guards out and knowing Dan Quinn's background. And it was interesting because I wrote a breakdown of the final 5 minutes for The Athletic. And so I listened to all of Dan Quinn's post-game press conference after I got back up to the press box. And the very last question he was asked was about, there wasn't really much pass rush today and blah, 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 whatever. And it was the last question. And he just goes, agreed. And he just got up and like laughed or whatever. And Dan is usually notorious for giving really long answers and stuff like that. So you could tell he wasn't happy with it. But it's one of those things like, I see these numbers that Dante Fowler's put up this season, and then obviously have Dorrance Armstrong, some other players up front. I just thought with Cooper Rush, they were going to cause a lot more problems than they didn't. And that was, talking to people that cover Washington, that's what they were saying too. They thought for sure there would be more pass rush there than there was, because if you didn't know about the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary against the Bears, and you didn't know about how he started off the season, and you didn't know about like what the Commanders had been this year, and this is the first time you watched them as a Cowboys fan, you wouldn't have thought there was much out there that was any different than the last 10 or 15 times they played the Commanders.
Yeah. And then, this game, if we were to talk about some of the things that matter, which we haven't done on many of the post-game shows lately, I did think like the Turpin spin move, one of the greatest spin moves of all time.
It was.
I do not care, man. That was incredible.
TCU days, man. That was awesome.
Just the special teams chaos. And then Wanye Thomas not going down on the onside kick. All of it all falls right into the checks out Cowboys 2024 season. Absolutely. But I don't know if you want to weigh on some of the specifics of those wild plays.
Yeah, real quick before we get into that, John, just a quick second. Rico Dowdle, dude, like 86 yards, almost broke the streak, almost did it.
Almost
I was
there, dude.
Like, honestly, if Turpin doesn't return that for a touchdown, I think the Cowboys have a 100-yard rusher today, to be quite honest with you. So I just want to give him his props before we talk about that stuff. So
we also would have rushed the field if that happened. No, the thing I will say, and this again, I joke around about this, but it's true. Like, if in the middle of a press conference, McCarthy was like, "Oh, you got all the answers, John. Why don't you come up here and draw like the game-winning play or what you would do in the situation?" Obviously, it would not be in our best interest. I'd be like, "Babe, Laufenberg, get over here, help us out." No, I would. I mean, and I feel that way for people that cover the team. But we ask these questions, and so whatever. So with that being said, I know that I don't know anything close to even like what whoever's the least qualified person on an NFL coaching staff. I know nothing compared to them. Okay. But there's just a part of me that wonders, how are they not getting Cavante Turpin more involved in the offense?
I know.
Like, this guy gets in space and crazy stuff happens. Like, how are they not?
Ball.
Right. I don't get it. I don't know.
When they tried, it's been, here's 60 yards down the field. Go catch this bomb. And it's like, okay, so we're going to throw a bomb type window throw to the shortest guy on the field. But like, you're right.
Yeah. You know who would utilize the hell out of him? Kyle Shanahan. This is
John
like
McVay,
the Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
This is like the Debo. I'm not saying he's Debo, but I'm saying he's like a version of that kind of guy that Shanahan would absolutely. By the way, like, I know the 49ers got their doors blown off today by your Packers, KT, but like, but obviously they're down quite a few guys. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, I agree. Like, it's not about like, oh, he's not Randy Moss fast. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of like how he uses his speed. It's more Debo fast, where like get him the ball, let him work in space.
I said this jokingly in the Discord right after it. I said, sign him to a lifetime deal right now. I mean, I say that jokingly, but I'm kind of not kidding because you don't find guys like that often. They're pretty hard to replace. If you can figure out a way to use them, then you need to use them. Can you imagine him on the Chiefs?
Oh, yeah, right.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
That's what Xavier
You
Worthy
cannot
is
let
trying to do.
another team get him and use him.
Oh,
Be unlocked.
I would think even the Dolphins with
Yeah.
McDaniel, like the stuff that he would do with them, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. It fascinates me because we've just seen these two monster plays, the last two Cowboys games, where you're just kind of like, man, that speed is just so. He's on such a rare level where like he's already with playing around other players who are already on such a rare level just to get in the NFL. And he's even a step above all of that, where like as soon as he gets a seam, if he gets any space, no one can catch him. And he even said like after the game, so I asked him, I was like, you set that next gen stats record, whatever, for the season last week at 20, it was like 22 something or whatever. I go, how fast do you think this one was? And he goes, and he said that he's hoping that's like 21 something because he says he doesn't even think it'll register as fast. He doesn't think he was running as fast as he was on that 64-yard touchdown. So it's like he's got a whole nother gear. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
I also think some of it might just be like the nature of like progression. Like when Cooks went down, Tolbert was just coming into the season looked at as the number 3 guy and Turpin as the 4. And so like Tolbert just moved up to the 2 and Turpin, and like they just kept that progression based on, training camp depth chart or whatever. And I just don't think he got the opportunities that he really should have.
Tolbert with a big touchdown catch too. So there we go. And then look, I think we should talk for a second about Deron Bland back and then Josh Butler. I mean, look, it all kind of gets overshadowed in the secondary for me when the Terry McLaurin play happens, because talk about something that feels like it would only happen to this team. I mean, those guys, but Josh Butler played really well, it seems like. And, I don't know. It's not like the Washington offense was humming at all today at any part, but for Gant to be down that many players, it sure felt like a couple of guys stepped in and did a good job.
It really felt like that Butler was going to be the target of Jaden Daniels pretty much all day. Like he was going to be the weak link. This is a guy, he's a practice squad type player. I'll target him. I'll stay away from some of these other DBs. And man, time after time after time, Butler just kept showing up. I mean, he was one of the standouts of the game. Now, he was around McLaurin during that catch where they clearly were trying to keep the guys in bounds. They were defending, the sideline because they didn't have any timeouts left. There's 20 seconds left to go in the game. By the time you have to spot the ball, you probably only have one play left. And so I think that was their game plan on there. But outside of him not making the tackle on McLaurin, just like Kwamu did, and Donovan Wilson and Jordan Lewis was in that vicinity as well. Like, so it wasn't like it was just Josh Butler, but outside of that, I mean, led the team in tackles, had a sack, had 3 pass breakups. Like, I mean, there's so many times when that targeted guy that the opposing quarterback's picking on, he might knock a ball down here or there, but eventually he gets burned for a big one. And I don't really put the McLaurin one on him, but there really wasn't a big play that he gave up. And so, yeah, that was a very big surprise for me how well Butler played.
Yeah, especially on the heels of everything we've seen with Kalen Carson, which is exactly what you expect when a quarterback starts picking on the other guy. You think there's, and to be honest, like you can go back, like we saw this with Anthony Brown when he filled in a few years back and was doing that. Like you saw the same kind of stuff. Anthony Brown was either getting DPIs or was getting picked on, and Kalen Carson was just straight up getting, feasted on. But Josh Butler held up. One game against a rookie quarterback. I'm not ready to like crown him as like, the next part of the secondary or anything like that, but it was a really encouraging first step.
It takes a big bomb play right there.
Also, by the way, KT, you might know this. Maybe Kent, maybe you guys are more familiar with the TikTok game. There's a rumor I heard that he might have the most TikTok followers of anybody on the team. Have you guys heard this?
I've not heard that.
Josh Butler.
Josh Butler for what?
He has an interesting story of I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it's something along the lines of both of his parents passed away, and when he was at Michigan State, he had a senior day where it got a lot of headlines because when you walk out at senior day with your parents, he walked out with his dogs, and it like really caught on, and it was like a big thing. And so when some of the players dressed up a couple of weeks ago for Halloween, I don't remember who he was dressed up as, but I was like, oh, that's kind of weird that him of all players would dress up. And I was told that it's because he has a huge following. I believe it's on TikTok.
3.3 million
on TikTok. He's got some. I
can't look it up on my phone right now. Can you guys look up to see what the story is? Just type in his name with like Michigan State or whatever like that, because there is like a story about him on Senior Day that really it was a big deal at the time. I know. So
are they following him for him or his dogs? I'm confused.
I think it's for.
He's putting a lot of content out there on TikTok. Let's put it that way.
He's a TikTok creator. Got it.
During his senior night, he went viral when he walked the field accompanied by 2 dogs. Because he lost both of his parents during his time at Michigan State, like John said. So John got it right. That's out of the Wikipedia. He's actually born in Dallas. I did not know that. So cool. Yeah, went to high school at West Mesquite. I did not know that.
I just think it's all fascinating because, like Saad and I talk about this there's just so many things with the Dallas Cowboys that if there's just something small that happens, it gets so blown out of proportion to where you're almost like, there's very rarely a story that surprises you because it's pretty much been just beaten by whoever, like, they talked about it. And so when I heard that, Nick Harris is the one that told me at 4 Star Telegram. He's like, yeah, he's got a huge following on TikTok or whatever.
He does some music too, it looks like.
Okay.
He's got 161,000
more followers than Boss Man Fat.
I mean, can you just imagine, like, if I asked you to guess who's got the most TikTok followers on this roster, how many names you would name before you got to him?
Yeah, true.
Okay, now I got to see how many Boss Man Fat has. Okay, no, not worth the time tonight. Not what we're doing here.
Bugatti Casino.
Yeah, we'll catch up again in a couple of days because look, the Cowboys' next 3 games will have your 2-win Giants, your 4-win Bengals. And then you've got the Panthers too, who took the Chiefs all the way to the end. Towards Mahomes in the postgame was like, I want to have blowouts again. I'm tired of I don't need to have a walk-off victory against the Panthers. Draft status at play. My favorite tweet I got from someone today, I must say though, or maybe this was someone in the Discord, was, hey, now the Cowboys are 4-7 on the Karnacki graphics on Sunday night. They can be in the hunt. Right at the bottom, I was like, exactly all I wanted. It's not all lost. We got a big one on Thursday. It's Tommy Cutlets, Cooper Rush, what Fox dreamed of. But let's go ahead for your closing thoughts, John. Fire away.
For as bad as this season's been, and there's been a lot of bad parts, obviously, it was kind of cool to see Cooper Rush, a guy who doesn't show a lot of emotion. Just the way he was celebrating after the touchdown pass to Luke Schoonmaker with a little over 5 minutes to go, and the way, how excited he was. And then even after the game, the way he was too. And then McCarthy on the sideline as well, because obviously it's been some really tough times for those guys. So I get it. If your team tank, you hate that they won this game. I totally get it. We'll revisit it in April. But for today, there were just a lot of people on the team that I was happy for.
It's not unrealistic for this team to be on a 4-game winning streak in mid-December, which is kind of nuts. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
sounds funny though.
Yeah, it's crazy because that's just kind of where they are right now. I mean, this was not a game that any of us thought they could win. I think we all kind of penciled in Giants and Panthers as the one, and then Bengals are kind of in this weird season where they're not playing well. So that was kind of like this was the game they were going to lose for sure, and they didn't. So now you're looking at possibly winning 4 in a row, which is just going to be the funniest thing if it happens. But yeah, that was my thought.
That's incredible. And I want it to happen. I was telling you that, like, now you might as well. I get it. If you were sitting there at 3 wins, and I get it if your Cowboys like, just tank it hard and get Travis Hunter or whatever you want there. But now, let's go get this thing.
Cowboys fans probably love it too, because Jerry didn't talk after the game. Jerry didn't talk before the game. They're like, this is what it would be like.
Yeah. And by the way, like after that Panthers game, you play the Bucks. which like they're not exactly world beaters. Then you play the Eagles, who the way the Commanders are playing, the Eagles could have nothing to play for in week 17, and then you play the Commanders again. So can the Cowboys run the table? That's the question.
Boy, if that doesn't get our audience ready for Tuesday's episode, I don't know what will. Follow Jon and Saad's work over on The Athletic. You know what to do there. Go ahead and give Kent follow as well. Kent's a beast. And also, this is that Mad About Movies podcast. It was a big weekend with what was it?
Gladiator 2, my friend. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Was it Wikiator? What do we call this weekend? Because it all came out. Glicked, whatever it was.
Yeah.
2 movies. But for Jon and Saad out there in DC.
Real quick.
Quick.
I was walking down the hallway, down by the locker rooms to get to the Cowboys locker room after the game. Well, with about a minute or so to go in the game, which caused me to miss a couple of plays. Walking down a hallway, just me heading one way, coming towards me. Jay-Z and his entire entourage. It took everything in my power not to get out my phone and take a quick
church
picture.
in the wild. Yeah.
I didn't or do anything like that. I didn't do anything. I acted real serious and just walked right past him because I was like, you know what? That's what everybody else will do. I will not do that. But I kind of regret it right now. Should I have turned around and tried to take a little selfie as he was walking by?
Would have been our podcast cover for the week.
Damn it.
I didn't
even think
Look what you've done.
I didn't think about it. I'm sorry. I should.
To be honest, what I don't know if I would have taken the selfie, but I would have just like said a random lyric just out loud as I walk right past him.
My God. How many times has he heard that?
You know what you should have done? You should have reached
H to the Izzo every day of his life. Yeah.
You should have put your fist out there and said, thanks for what you're doing for the planet. Okay. And that makes him go. Because that would be an interaction he would never
plant
forget.
This seed. He needs to do a Linkin Park tour again. We need a Jay-Z Linkin Park tour in 2025.
See, if I would have known this guys, I could have ran this by him.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it. Okay. Maybe next game.
He'll be back.
Next game.
Yeah.
Who knows who will be in the house Thanksgiving Day at AT&T Stadium. We'll have an episode getting you ready for that game. That barn burner. It'll be hard to top this one. I didn't have this one circled as the one that we'd be talking about, but this was incredible. Go check out Saad and Jon's stuff, and we'll be back in a couple days. And thank you all for participating in our Discord as well. Jon, we won again, so we don't have to give anyone any money this week. But go ahead and get the picks and predictions going for Thursday as well. We'll be back in a couple days with another podcast. For Jon, for Saad, for Kent, I'm Kevin. See you next time on the One Star Cowboys podcast.
At the One Star Post Game, it's a whole lot of fun with jokes and recaps. Once the match is done, from the field to the office, we're ready to go on the One Star Post Game Show.
How about y'all fix this shit, Rich?
For over a century, Johnny Walker has shared its bold spirit with the game of golf. Now, crafted with Devereaux Golf, Johnny Walker introduces the Johnny Walker Blue Label-inspired Sunday Golf Bag, elevating the game with sleek design, blue label hues, and refined gold accents. Celebrate your hole-in-one with a premium Sunday bag crafted by Devereaux Golf. Submit proof of your achievement to johnnywalker.com/blue-in-1. Please drink responsibly.